Cassie, and you're watching TIGR Reviews on the Indie Game Report. Today we are playing as a power broker, trying to build up clans which we want to become lords, and sending clans down to the underworld which we want to become demons, in the 2 to 4 player game 4 Towers from Denkin Games. In 4 Towers, like I said, players are power brokers trying to send certain clans to the underworld to become demons, and building clans up to become lords. Each player will have their own objective and will be working towards their own goals. So let's find out if we're good at making lords and demons. In 4 Towers. In 4 Towers, players are competing to earn the most influence points in the game. They will have many ways of earning points, some which all players may work towards as shown on their personal mats, and some which will be specific to each player as they choose to gain champion cards. The game focuses around a board which has collections of 4 different colored meeples, the 4 Towers. One of each meeple starts on the board, and more will be added during the game. On a player's turn, she will draw 3 meeples in combination of her choice. She will then choose one of the 3 meeples to place on the board and the other 2 on one of her 2 mats. When she places a meeple on the board, she has to place it in a space which is already occupied by at least 1 meeple. If the space has 2 meeples on it already and she places a third, it must match one of the 2 meeples colors that are already on the space. If she does place a third meeple down, all 3 meeples expand outward. Each space has 3 spaces connected to it through lines. When the third meeple is placed, it actually doesn't get to stay in that space. The active player takes each of the 3 meeples and places them along a line, 1 meeple per line. This is how players use their power broker skills to move different clans to become lords or demons. When a meeple is moved beyond the board, it becomes a lord and is moved to the board which tracks lords. If a player makes a lord, she moves her token on the crown board up 1 space. At the end of the game, depending on where her token is, she will earn influence points. If a meeple is moved to the center of the board, it becomes a demon and is placed on the board which tracks demons. If a player makes a demon, she also takes a lord of matching color and makes it a demon as well. If a player makes a demon, she doesn't get to move her token up on the crown board, but she does get to move an opponent's token down 1 space. Quite conniving indeed. After a player has placed one of her 3 meeples on the board, she uses the other 2 meeples to increase her resources or influence points for the end of the game. The first mat players may place the 2 meeples on is the follower mat. This is where the lords and champion cards come into play. For every follower a player has of 1 color, she earns that many influence points times the number of lords of the same color. Also, at the beginning of a player's turn, if she already has followers, she may spend them to buy a champion card. Champion cards are cards which provide the player who acquired it a special skill or way to earn bonus points. Each card has a follower cost, which are discarded from the game when spent, and a new champion card is revealed when one of the 3 are purchased. The player who purchased the champion card may use it this turn if applicable. If a player wants to work towards something else besides followers, she may place her 2 meeples on the occupation mat in one of the 3 sections. If a player places a meeple in the merchant section, she must place meeples matching the color of the space's color in order, with the 5th color being any of her choice. At the end of the game, the player earns 4 points for every meeple. If a player completes the merchant section, she may earn a champion card for free if she has already purchased 2 at the beginning of her turn. If a player places a meeple in the mercenary section, she may place any color meeple of her choice. At the beginning of any turn, she may discard a mercenary from her mat to also remove a meeple on the board of her choice from the game. At the end of the game, she earns 2 points for every meeple left in her mercenary section. If she has more mercenaries than any other player, she also earns a bonus 40 points. The final place on the occupation mat creates minstrels. If a player chooses to make a minstrel, she places a meeple in the next available space and must match one of the 2 colors of the space. At the end of the game, she earns 3 points for every minstrel she has. If she has more minstrels than any of the other players, she earns 7 points instead of 3 points for every minstrel she has. Once a player has decided where she would like to place the 2 remaining meeples of the 3 she drew on her turn, she may use champion card skills she has if applicable, and then she passes her turn. When the final 2 meeples are drawn and played, the game ends and players count up their points. Their points are the sum of the points earned from their 4 follower tracks, their mercenaries, merchants, and minstrels, any special points they earned from champion cards, and the points earned from their token on the crown track. Whichever player has the most points is the winner of 4 Towers. There's so many reasons why I enjoyed playing 4 Towers. The first reason is because this game really felt like a point salad game. If you're not familiar with the term point salad, what it means is a game in which you can kind of earn points by doing pretty much anything you want. This game really has that feeling because you can put meeples on followers, you can put them on the occupation mat, you can try to get champion cards so you can earn more points doing it that way. So it definitely has like that kind of point salad feeling to it, but I can say from personal experience, it really feels like they're leading you to make followers. In my experience, the followers just provided way more points than any of the other ways you could earn points. There is some balance, so if players are trying to build a bunch of followers and a bunch of lords to give themselves that kind of large boost in points, the people who are making more of their meeples in the occupations are going to get that bonus point. So it does help to balance the point structure out a little bit. But because I feel like the points that you earn by making followers and lords is so much greater than the points you earn from anything else you do, I just have a really hard time saying it's a true point salad because there does seem to be like this little push towards making followers. But that doesn't mean I didn't like this game. I still like this game, even if, making followers is more towards your goal, because there's ways that you can combat if someone's making a bunch of followers. You can try to make demons of that same clan to remove the lords from the lord tracker. You can purchase champion cards, which remove meeples from not only the board, but you can move things from lords and tracker boards as well. There's just so many different things that you can do with those champion cards. There were just so many ways that players could earn points throughout the game that I just felt this game was so accessible and so easy for people to just pick up and play. And honestly, once you've played it once or twice, you'll never have to look at the rules again. So the game was very accessible, and I just really liked the way the point structure system kind of worked out, and it was a really fun game. I didn't like the art too much, just it wasn't like my style, and it also wasn't very prominent in the game. You definitely have the art on the champion cards, in a little corner, but you don't see it like, the board isn't very artistic. The cover of the box does have some good artwork on it, but it's just the champion cards and the champion art for each individual character just didn't really appeal to me. Now, with regards to the product itself, I received a prototype copy. You wouldn't even know it's a prototype copy. The meeples, there's so many meeples, and they're, nice, good wooden quality meeples. The board is, it seems like a finished board, so the quality of everything is really well put together. The champion cards are really big, and so are the Lord and Demon trackers. So I sometimes had a difficult time finding enough space to fit everything onto a table. So maybe if there was a way to make the champion cards smaller or the trackers, just slightly smaller so it can help with the space on a table, I would prefer that, but it was definitely not a deal breaker. Altogether, I really liked playing Four Towers. I thought the mechanics were really easy to work through. I enjoyed not knowing who was going to win until the end of the game. And I liked that almost everything, like I said, almost everything that you did would bring you points. So you don't feel like you're doing something wrong because you kind of can't. The artwork, like I said, was okay. Didn't bother me though because it's not super prominent in the game. And just altogether, this is a really great 2 to 4 player filler game. I know I'll be playing Four Towers pretty frequently at my house, and if you would also like to play Four Towers at your house, you can find out how to do that at the links down below. If you liked this video, please feel free to leave a comment or subscribe, and if you would like the Indie Game Report to check out your game, you can check out our website down below. Thanks for watching. I'm Cassie signing out on TIGR Reviews with Four Towers, a journey of lords and demons from Duncan Games.
Wait, don't leave yet. I have new information to share with you about Four Towers. I was sent an updated prototype, and not a whole lot has changed, but enough has to make the game better in my opinion. So before you leave this review, take a look at the new version because a lot has improved. First, the size of the Lord and Demon boards have changed to be smaller, so they fit the table way better now than they used to. Here's the old Lord board next to the new Lord board. Much smaller, and the artwork has changed as well. The champion cards have changed as well in size. They're now like tarot card sized almost. Here's an old one next to 2 new ones. Speaking of champion cards, they have been redone with artwork and abilities alike to make them more powerful and useful. The new abilities help players fight their opponent's strategy better with discarding peasants and moving more peasants around on the board. Oh, and discarded peasants and peasants not used during the game due to player counts are now called spirits and are used throughout the game with champion cards. The game board has changed also. The artwork is different, and the champion cards now have a place to sit on the board. The clans each have a different space on the board as well on the side instead of in the corners, and the influence track looks a little different. Cube gems are used with the influence track in the new game, which can be used with champion cards to accomplish tasks. Spirits now have a home on the board too, called the Champion's Temple. Some rules have changed in the game, like a player may only have a maximum of 2 champion cards unless they fill up their merchant track, in which they could earn a 3rd champion for free. This means you can't just keep taking champion cards to rack up abilities, you have to be selective when choosing to take a champion card. If you see here, one of the occupations have changed in this new version of the game. What used to be minstrels are now called mountaineers, which allow players to discard a mountaineer and then push a peasant from the green hills into the blue mountains on the game board. Overall, the updated version of the game seems to be more interactive. Players have stronger abilities with their champion cards, and the occupations have improved to be stronger as well. This helps to balance the push to create followers and really brings the game back to a balance in a place where I could call the game a true point salad game. The artwork is more prominent now and really has improved. It used to kind of look like digital art out of an old PC game, and now it looks more like it's painted. It's really very nice. And it wasn't like it was terrible before, but I really do think that it's improved. Improving artwork is really important too in a game where players are going to be staring at it for at least half an hour. So I'm excited to see that the artwork is nicer, in my opinion, and I'm also excited to see the new artwork that's going to come out for some of these champions that are currently missing updated art. I'm really excited for this updated prototype of 4 Towers, and I look forward to a very good Kickstarter campaign. Thanks for watching TIGR Reviews 4 Towers.